Not long ago, I started a journey to collecting all 100 stamps in Wii Sports Resort, and that's been a project that I've been going on and off with for quite a while now, and it's also been giving me quite a bit of trouble. While some stamps were pretty easy to acquire, other ones either ask for way too much or just straight up perfection. So I recently decided to take a break from Wii Sports Resort and try out another game in the Wii series, because I eventually want to cover and complete every stamp and platinum medal in the Wii series. And I figured while I'm taking a break from Wii Sports Resort and Woohoo Island, it seemed like it made the most sense to go back to where it all began, with this game right here, Wii Play. Because fun fact, outside of America, Wii Play was actually a launch title for the system, and it honestly makes a lot of sense that ended up being the case, since just like its sports equivalent that came bundled with nearly every Wii console that was sold, Wii Play was meant to showcase the possibilities and gimmick of the Wii Remote via its 9 different minigames, which is where you can obtain the medals after reaching certain scoring milestones. Platinum is the highest ranking medal, and while I had an easier time earning some of them during this journey, for some minigames, they were either very time consuming, very challenging, or in the case of a couple of minigames, both time consuming and challenging. So without any more delays, let's just jump right into stage 1 of Wii Play, Shooting Range. And in order to obtain the platinum medal in this minigame, I have to finish with a final score of at least 600. Shooting Range acts as a spiritual successor to the NES game Duck Hunt, down to the setting this game takes place in, and even the designs of the ducks themselves. Shooting Range consists of 5 levels, each with their own set of objects to shoot. Level 1 has you pop a bunch of balloons that float on screen. Level 2 is full of appearing and disappearing targets, with the gold targets being worth 10 points, and the targets with your Mii's face on them, shooting them will subtract 3 points from your current score, and also ending your combo if you have one ongoing. Level 3 is a clay pigeon round. Level 4 consists of cans that you must shoot over and over until they eventually shatter, and the final level has you defend 6 of your Mii's from an armada of UFOs trying to capture them. And during every level, you will eventually hear a dog barking in the distance. And when this happens, a duck will fly on screen, or in the case of levels 3, 4, and 5, 2 ducks will fly on screen at the same time. Every duck is also worth 10 points, aside from 2 exceptions being the brown ducks in levels 4 and 5 being worth 15 points, and the blue duck that only appears in level 5 being worth 20 points. But in order to shoot them down, you will more than likely need to take your focus off of what you are currently aiming for just to hit them. It's not that bad at the start, since in level 1, there are not that many balloons to focus on, and plus, they're only worth 1 point, sometimes 2, but only if you shoot the same coloured balloon twice in a row, which I only just learned about recently. The targets at the start of level 2, I didn't really face that much trouble with them. I was able to build up a considerable combo, until eventually breaking it during the second wave of targets, which, since I've not mentioned this yet, for every consecutive shot that you land, you'll build up a combo, and once you reach a combo of 5, every following shot will earn you an additional bonus point for either when your combo breaks or at the very end of the game. So early on, it's definitely within your best interest to build up as big of a combo as you possibly can. Then next up was the clay pigeon level. Some of them took me a bit of time to react to, but the ones I managed to shoot almost immediately, those ones awarded me additional points. Another combo ended as soon as the duck showed up on the screen, but at least I was able to successfully hit both of them. Next up was the can shooting level, and I kinda choked a bit here. Not just by dropping a can when the duck showed up on the screen, and during the final wave of cans, I ended up missing one of them completely, but thankfully I was able to successfully chain the other 2 cans, which, for every consecutive hit you make on a can, adds an additional point, and after 5 shots, the can will break, meaning every can is worth up to 15 points max. So with what I managed to score during this level, despite the hiccups along the way, I felt pretty confident going into the final level in this attempt. Yeah, it took me a few tries to get this run, but all I have to do now is successfully defend all 6 of the beef bosses from the aliens. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes I can just not hear the dog barking this level. Watch. Not long after the ducks are gone, a final set of golden UFOs will appear, depending on how many Mii's are still left in play. Every Mii you successfully defend during this final level is worth an additional 10 points, and despite the fact I ended up losing 1 beef boss, it was still enough to get me past the 600 point mark, earning me my first platinum medal. This one only took me a few tries to complete, but since it was a platinum I once got on my original save, I was not expecting this one to take that long. The next minigame on the other hand, Find Mii. I had never gotten the platinum medal until this video, and there is a reason for that. Find Mii consists of 99 levels, where the objective ranges from finding matching Mii's, finding a specific Mii in the level, find a Mii or 2 that's looking in the opposite direction of everyone else, find which Mii's moving around the fastest, etc. And in order to obtain the platinum medal in this one, I have to complete 80 levels. 80! For every level you complete, 10 seconds is added to your time limit, maxing out at 120 seconds. So at most, you'll get 2 minutes to solve the current level you're on. And don't think you can just simply weasel your way around it by pausing the game or pressing the home button, because doing either of those things removes the Miis off the screen completely until you resume the game, which, credit where it's due, that's actually a pretty clever way to prevent cheating. And even if you have a large group of Miis that you can immediately recognize in your Mii channel, half the time, that's not going to help you, since this game will also randomly generate other Miis that'll appear for just that one level. Of course, the journey will start off pretty easy, with only a few characters on the screen, and probably the most free kind of levels in the game, which is to find the Mii that you are currently using. Level 8 is when the Miis will begin to move around the screen, and how they move on and off the screen varies depending on the setting that the level takes place in, but they all behave the same way. Once a Mii leaves the screen, they will spawn back at the top and repeat the cycle. But as for the levels that take place on the escalator, the center escalator will move faster than the escalators on both the left and right sides, which can actually help pretty significantly when trying to find a pair. But also, here's a tip for the escalator levels. If the level is tasking you to find a pair, the matching Miis will always appear on different escalators, meaning that if you have to find 3 lookalikes on one of these levels, all 3 Miis will appear on all 3 escalators, which, in my opinion, compared to finding a pair, finding 3 of the same Mii is quite easier in that regard. Level 19 is when the game introduces the dark levels, where the entire screen is completely pitch black. Aside from where you're pointing on the screen, which once again, starts off pretty tame, since everyone here is stationary, and there are not that many Miis on screen to count. But when you get to the levels like the escalator, good luck. Strangely though, level 80 itself is not that bad. Yeah, it's another dark level, but the objective is just to find 2 odd Miis out, and it's still easy to pinpoint which ones are correct, because despite the fact we've been reduced to tunnel vision, you can still see more than 1 Mii at a time on screen. And even though this level was pretty easy, I'm just gonna be perfectly frank with you right now and just say, I still got a bit of help to get this far. After my initial struggles with previous attempts, I just got help from 2 of my friends via a Discord call. So shoutouts to both these guys for coming in clutch for me, you guys are the best. And also, something else I should also admit is, even though I'm editing this video to be each minigame in stage order, as it's presented on the menu, so shooting range, Find Mii, table tennis, pose Mii, etc., ending off with tanks, the platinum medals themselves, I ended up completing these out of order, with the next minigame, table tennis, actually being the final platinum medal I ended up getting during my recording sessions. And despite the fact table tennis ended up being my actual final platinum, I also ended up realizing that this minigame houses one of the easiest platinum medals to obtain in the entirety we play. So, what gives? Why was this minigame in particular the last platinum medal that I managed to collect? Well, let's start from the beginning. The first time you boot up table tennis, you're given the objective to rally the ball back 100 times, and once you've completed that, your run will just end there, earning you the gold medal, and also making this one of the 2 minigames that we play that pretty much requires you to play a second run in order to earn the platinum, which is kind of annoying. But table tennis is honestly the least offensive out of the 2 minigames that does this to you, because a 100 rally actually does not take that long to get back up to. As for the platinum score though, we need to double that rally and hit the ball back 200 times, and the higher that number gets, the faster the rally becomes. But after every 10th point that's scored, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 and so on, the ball will slow down by a small fraction and then immediately pick back up from where it left off. But after reaching a rally of 100, the slowdown is actually way more noticeable. But don't worry, it won't be much longer for the ball to not only reach its previous top speed, but also go even faster. So as expected, the second half of the rally is much more tougher than the first. So why is this one of the easiest platinums in the entire game? Because unlike Find Mii, this one you can actually cheese just by pausing the game, since this time the ball itself doesn't go away when the game is paused, meaning you could basically just line yourself up with where the ball is going to go, and then unpause the game, and you can repeat this process until you hit the 200 rally mark. And say what you will about this method of scoring, but I like to think of it as karma for forcing a second playthrough just for the platinum. Next up is Pose Mii, and in order to obtain this minigame's platinum medal, I have to finish off with a final score of 1200 points. And the main objective here is to match not just the poses on every bubble that spawns on screen, but also the angle. And also, I don't know what it is, but as bizarre as it is to see real photos of animals and plant life in a Wii Series / Mii game, I personally do not mind it all that much. Real world locations were also mentioned in Wii Party's Globetrot game, but when it came to the settings themselves in that game, they were still given that cartoony look to them. Not the case here, but again, something about it I honestly kinda like. It could just be nostalgia getting to me, but regardless, there's something oddly nice and relaxing about it. But this minigame is anything but relaxing after the first half. Levels 1, 2 and 3 all utilize one of the 3 poses, and you will not be forced to switch between them at any given time. But once level 4 begins, that's when you'll need to begin switching between them, and later on, you better be quick about it, because once a bubble reaches the bottom of the screen, you lose a life. Lose all 3 lives, and the game is over. Starting over from the beginning, it goes without question that that's pretty detrimental, but there is another negative side effect that comes with losing a life in this game. If you complete a level without dropping a single bubble, you will earn what is called a perfect bonus, which is essentially 5 points times by the level number, so a perfect bonus on level 10 for example would be worth 50 points. Losing a single life means that you will not earn these additional bonus points once you complete the level, and they are a pretty big contributor to earning this minigame's platinum medal. Level 5 ends with bubbles spawning near the bottom of the screen, which sounds kinda bad, but you'll have more than enough time to react to them since they barely make a descent here. Level 6 introduces the rotating bubbles. Pop a rainbow bubble to make your life a bit more easier here, since they will temporarily stop time, pausing every bubble on screen, allowing you to clear them out more easily. And you'll probably need that going to levels 8 and 12, since they both feature a massive wave of bubbles at certain points during the levels. Level 9's bubbles are entirely upside down. Level 10 picks up the speed a notch. Level 11 only features diagonal bubbles, which I had a bit of trouble with, mainly with the upside down diagonals. Level 12 features everything from the previous 2 levels, including the previously mentioned huge wave of bubbles from level 8. Level 13 brings back the rotating bubbles from level 6. Level 14 spawns in waves of bubbles throughout the entire level, all of which featuring all the angles you've encountered throughout your journey so far. Level 15 is more of everything you've seen up to that point, and the final level was where I ended up getting my platinum medal. Although, once again, this was after a previous attempt where I ended up getting this far, and still did not end up scoring enough points. Yeah, that failure kinda stung a bit at the time, until I eventually bounced back with this one. Stage 5 is laser hockey, and the platinum medal for this one requires us to win the match with 14 goals. We are given 2 minutes to complete this objective, and you can easily give yourself a head start by just simply bouncing the puck off the wall for the first 5 points, which was what I mainly did during every attempt at this platinum, or tried to. And once again, as expected, the more points you score, the faster your opponent becomes. Something else to take into account is the puck itself, since that will also get progressively faster the longer the puck remains in play. And once either side manages to score a goal, the puck will reset on the side that was just scored on. So if your opponent is the one that manages to score the goal, then that's going to set you back quite a bit. And for what I experienced after scoring around 8 to 10 points in a match, the opponent will react to the puck as soon as it enters their side of the table, and the best way to try and score a goal on them from this point forward is to try and make them score a goal into their own net. Scoring a goal yourself is still possible, just pretty difficult at this point in the game. And one more thing I feel like that needs to be pointed out is that the edges of the table are actually pretty big time wasters most of the time, because nearly every time I ended up hitting the puck over to the edge of the table, the opponent would just flip over and hold the puck in place, keeping it on their side of the table for around, I would say, in between 2 to 4 seconds. And again, I've only got 120 seconds to score 14 points. Every second of this match counts. This was once again one of the final platinum medals I managed to earn during the recordings for this video, and just like Find Mii, this was genuinely my first time earning this minigame's platinum medal. 5 minigames down, 4 to go. And up next is without a doubt probably one of the most nostalgic minigames out of the 9 for me, since Billiards was the one minigame I ended up playing the most in 2-player, mainly with both my father and my brother. But nostalgia aside though, the scoring system in 2-player Billiards is actually much more straightforward than it is in 1-player. Since in 2-player, the number on each ball corresponded with how many points they were worth. You still had to pot them in order from lowest to highest, although technically, all you really needed to do was hit the lowest number first, and whatever ball you potted after that still counted. So, what makes the 1-player mode different? Well, to begin with, the platinum medal for this minigame is 60 points, which is a score that's literally impossible to achieve in 2-player, since if you were to add all 9 numbers together, the total would come out to only 45. So how does the scoring system in 1-player work? Well, like this. The one thing that I did not mention in 2-player yet also applies to the 1-player mode. For every foul that you make during the game, whether it be hitting the wrong ball first, putting the cue ball, or just not hitting anything at all, that will subtract 3 points from your final score. And every shot you make in one player also subtracts 3 points from your score. So not only do you have to hit the balls in the correct order, but you also have to clear out the entire table in as very few shots as possible. But what is the most amount of shots that you can make until your score ends up being lower than 60? Well, without making a single foul, in order to score 60 points, you have to clear up the whole pool table in only 7 shots. So if we would add 3 to my final score for every shot I made in my successful run, that would mean your starting score when you begin a new round of billiards is 81. But since there are 9 balls on the table, and you have only 7 shots to pot all of them, you will need to pot more than 1 ball in a single shot, at least once or twice during the run. I ended up resetting on the break shot over and over again, trying to get a good break at the start of the round. If you manage to pot 3 balls, or maybe even 4 or 5 on the first shot, great! As long as you don't miss your mark on any more shots after that, the platinum medal is all yours. Potting 1 or 2 at the break shot, while not ideal, it is still possible to achieve 60 points. You just gotta be a bit more creative with your shots. That trick shot allowed me to at least make one mistake, since when all I had left on the table was the 9 ball, I was only up to shot number 6. I tried being creative again with this one, and while this trick shot did not quite make the mark, it did put the 9 ball in a position where making the final shot was nice and straightforward. Done in 7 shots, and without a single foul. Platinum medal number 6, acquired. And as for the next 2 minigames, fishing and charge, both of their platinum medals are some of the easiest in the entire game. If it weren't for the pause method in table tennis, I'd honestly give the easiest platinum medal in Wii Play to either fishing or charge. To earn fishing's platinum medal, I have to score at least 2,600 points. And here's a tip right off the bat. Every time you start a new game, the fish inside the pond will be different, and I recommend you keep restarting the game until you get a starting pond where there are no small fry fish, since fishing up one of those will subtract 50 points from your score, which, fun fact, makes fishing the only minigame we play where your final score can actually end negatively. Every other fish though will contribute positively to your score, and fishing up what the game has chosen as the bonus fish will reward you with double points. And as for the fish themselves, the green plain old fish will earn you 50 to 60 points, the nibbler is worth 90 to 120 points, the touchy fish is worth 150 to 200 points, the mystery fish is worth 230 to 250 points, and the king of the pond is worth 320 to 350 points. The fish worth more points take more bites before I can successfully reel them up. Plain old fish needing only 1 bite, nibbler needing 2, touchy fish needing 3, and king of the pond needing 4. Mystery fish is the one exception, since it will latch onto the hook almost immediately like the plain old fish. This fish, as the name implies, will also show up in the pond entirely at random, so you could end up seeing it like only once during a round, maybe even twice, but regardless of how many times one spawns in, hook it up as soon as it spawns in, because after a few seconds, it will disappear from the pond and you'll have to try again, if you're lucky for another one to spawn that is. And as for the other fish, nibbler will let go of the hook if you don't react to it immediately, and if the hook ends up poking the touchy fish, it will react surprisingly and swim all around the pond. So those are a couple of things that you need to watch out for whenever they are chosen as the current bonus fish. But even though the plain old fish is not worth that many points, even with the double point bonus, I still think they are worth fishing up, because if you fish up all of what is the currently chosen bonus fish, a different fish will be chosen for double points. So getting rid of all the plain old fishes quickly will make a more desired fish be worth double points. But as soon as the king of the pond shows up, which happens near the end of the game, that will automatically be chosen as the bonus fish for a small window of time. I don't even think I need to say that you should put all your focus on this fish the second it shows up. This fish alone is a huge contributor towards your score, earning you between 640 to 700 points with a bonus active. Once I managed to fish up the king of the pond, I was still a little bit short of my goal, but before the final countdown, another mystery fish luckily spawned in, pushed me past the 2600 point mark, and scoring me another platinum medal. So in conclusion, as long as you don't fish up a single small fry, keep the behaviours of each of the fish in mind, reeling the fish worth double points as soon as possible, and yoinking the mystery fish and king of the pond the moment they show up, you should be able to complete this platinum medal in no time. And as for the next minigame, Charge, the score we need for this one is 325 points, and in order to achieve that, we have to hit every single scarecrow on the course and reach the goal with at least 25 seconds to spare. Missing a single scarecrow though is pretty much an automatic restart, because for every stack of scarecrows you knock out on the course, you earn an additional 5 bonus points, and if you complete a run by running at full speed throughout all of it, the course should take you around, I'd say, a minute to complete. And with only 9 seconds to finish the course, completing a run in 60 seconds will give you 30 additional points as time bonus. So if you missed one scarecrow and finished with 30 seconds left on the timer, your final score would end up being 324 points, just 1 point off of the platinum medal. But if you need to hit literally every scarecrow in the game, including the ones that bounce around the course, what exactly makes this platinum medal easy? Well, it all comes down to the fact that the course and the scarecrow placements are always the same on every single run you play. So it's only a matter of time and practice before you have everything narrowed down. And without a doubt, the easiest section of the whole course is the home stretch to the finish line. Just stay in the center of the path, jump over the obstacles at the right time, and you'll always hit every last scarecrow on this straightforward sprint to the end. And with that, I think it's time to enter the final minigame, the one that I know a lot of you have been waiting for me to get to. So without any more delays, it's time for Wii Tanks. The platinum medal for this one requires us to destroy 125 tanks, which pretty much equates to beating mission 30. But just like table tennis, you cannot reach mission 30 right away. Once you beat mission 20 for the first time, that run is over, and you'll have to start from the very beginning. And as I mentioned before, I think that's more frustrating here in this minigame than it is in table tennis, because as previously mentioned in table tennis, getting to a rally of 100 doesn't take that long, and pausing the game over and over can literally just carry you. Tanks on the other hand, not only does getting to stage 20 itself take longer, but the challenge itself to get there feels more brutal. Well, at least in the second half of the first 20 stages. The first 10 stages are pretty simple. Brown tanks cannot move, and they rarely fire a shot, so I don't think you'll be dying to one of these. Grey tanks are the first mobile tanks, and as expected, they're also pretty trivial. These are the only 2 tanks you'll encounter in the first 4 stages, and then stage 5 introduces the teal tanks, the first set of tanks in the game that fire missile shots, which thankfully, unlike the previously mentioned tanks, their shots will not ricochet off the walls, and the only times that they will fire a shot is when you're in their line of sight. Every 5 stages completed rewards you with an extra life, and trust me, you're going to need every single life that you can get for when you reach stages 11 to 20. Yellow tanks are introduced in stage 8, and they are the first set of tanks in the game that can lay down mines. You can also lay down some yourself, but if you end up going into the range of one, regardless of whether or not you were the one who set it down originally, it will automatically go off and you will lose a life. Mines will also go off by themselves after a certain amount of time has passed, but they'll also go off automatically if you choose to shoot one directly. Red tanks are introduced in stage 10 and are more attack focused compared to everything else we've encountered up to this point. They will try to approach and attack you directly, and will also shoot multiple bullets at once, so pay attention if a bullet bounces off a wall, and also make sure to defend yourself with your own shots. And then we get to the most infamous tank in the entire game in stage 12. That of course being the green tanks. Not only one of the smartest tanks in the entire game, but unlike the previously mentioned teal tanks, the missiles from the green tanks can actually ricochet off the walls, not just once, but twice. And due to their smart AI, their shots for the most part are relentlessly accurate, as in like, they know you're not in their line of sight, but they know full well whereabouts on the level you're going to go next. Oh, and stage 17, you've got to fight 6 of these guys coating the entire level. Oh, and so I don't forget, stage 15 introduces the purple tanks, but the best way I could describe them is, they are essentially the red and yellow tanks combined, aggressive and can lay down mines. Nowhere near as frustrating as the green ones. The only way I could actually beat this level was by performing ricochet shots of my own, and even that was difficult to do, just because of how precisely these green tanks calculate their shots. But once you destroy the center tank, and both the tank on the center left and center right, all you need to do for the last 3 tanks is blow up these breakable walls and boop, boop, boop. Stage 17 complete. I did have to employ similar strategies in the previous levels that the green tanks were in, but their placements there were nowhere near as frustrating as they were in this level. Not even in stage 18, where the one and only green tank is just sandwiched between 2 walls. And where your first initial run will end, stage 20 introduces the white tanks, which behave aggressively and turn invisible once the level begins. And the strangest part about all this is once you beat stage 20 and progress further into the game, it for some reason becomes a lot easier. Mainly due to the fact that every single stage from this point forward are all randomly generated. You will also start to see previous level layouts, but the tanks featured this time will all be completely different than what you previously encountered there. Here I am on mission 22, which features the exact same layout as mission 16, and because there isn't a single purple or even a green tank on the level this time, I pretty much faced close to no trouble with this level. In fact, guess what mission it was when I next made an encounter with a singular green tank? It was mission 30, and the best case scenario for me, it was placed directly onto the top right side of the level, whilst I started at the bottom left. So it rarely made an attempt to launch an attack towards me. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, I've completed mission 30, and that will be enough to earn me the final platinum medal in Wii Play. So I guess the next step of this journey lies within another game in the Wii series. So next time in this series of videos, I will be revisiting Wii Sports and collecting all 15 platinum medals in the training minigames. So if you enjoyed this video, please give this video a like, and to not miss out on what's to come, while also supporting me as a content creator, I also hope you consider clicking the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a nice day. Bye!